Hey everyone, it's Cathy Zielske. Welcome back to my channel and the craft/dining room. There's a new distress ink in town. Prize Ribbon is the newest addition to Tim Holtz's fabulous distress ink line. I'm gonna make a card using it, and I'm also gonna use another of the newest releases. I think, was this the last one? I got a couple blues. I have an idea. Mermaids might be involved. So stick around to see Tim's new distress ink in action. That card project is coming up next. Today's video is all about the new color Prize Ribbon. Now, of course, when Tim releases a new color, he releases the whole shebang, right? You've got spray, stain, oxide spray, distress paint, re-inkers for both oxide and the regular formulation, oxide color, and where's the last piece? The embossing glaze. So the whole slew, and I got mine at SSS Stamp, where you can get any of these that your heart desires. But today, what I am going to work with, because I like to start simple, is just the Prize Ribbon regular formula distress ink, because I have an idea and it involves mermaids. I also have Salvaged Patina, which I think was the last one he released. And then I'm pulling a few other colors. You purple people will be very happy. Wilted Violet, Twisted Citron, and the ever lovely Cracked Pistachio. The stamps I'm going to use today, I'm going to use Be a Mermaid. I have had this for the longest time, and I've wanted to do something fun and funky with it. And to that end, I'm also going to be using this watercolor wash stencil that I've used in 2 other videos, and I will most definitely link those above if you haven't seen in a card. But I'm going to combine that stencil with this Waves stencil from SSS Stamp. I have an idea. I think it's going to work. So let's get started with our ink blending. I have some pixie spray still tacky on this stencil from the last project that I did, which is kind of amazing that it lasts, but it does. And I'm just going to center this to the best of my ability right in like that. Because what I want to do here, I think it would be fun to have my waves go in a containment area, right? Haven't done that yet with this stencil. So we're going to give that a try. I'm going to bring in, let's see, is it this one that I want or this side? Probably this side, right? And what I'm going to need to do is tape this down. So I'm going to grab some Post-it tape, like that. And if I paste this right here, it's not only going to hold this down from slipping, but it's going to mask off this wave area. So I'm going to grab my PET, the Positively Everything tool, which is really nice because if you put your ink pad on here, you don't have to hold it down. And what I want to do, and actually I'm going to grab a little bit of paper towel here to do a little tap off. I'm going to go ahead and load up my brush with the Prize Ribbon. I'm going to have to check out Tim's video, because whenever he does a reveal, he talks about everything that goes into the thinking of how he chose this color. But all I could think of was water and mermaids, and so let's, oh, don't move. I better hold that in place. Let's give it a whirl. I'm just going to come in here, and I'm going to create some waves contained within this freeform wash stencil shape. A lot of times when I get my hands on a new color of distress ink, I do stick with just the regular distress formula, because it's such a fun formula, and there really are so many things that you can do with distress inks, such as ink blending, which I'm doing here today. We're just going to overlap these a little, get a little border on that, right? Come off the edge. Ink blending and painting, which we're also going to do. And I just want to get a nice little area of wave started here with the Prize Ribbon. Okay, just coming off the edge here, bringing that on. And it can be a little messy. It can be a little haphazard, if you will, because we're going to bring in some other color here. All right. So I've started with this deep color. Then I think I'm going to bring in Salvaged Patina. I want to create some different views, depths, if you will, of, oh my, this is completely dry. I need to go wet this down. I got to clean off my stencil. Sometimes I leave my little holder open and then it completely dries out. So all I want to do here, just want to wipe off a little of that, right? As I move on to the next color, the Salvaged Patina. Here's the thing, I just wanted to create different layers of color because, you know, the ocean where mermaids would live, it's not just one color, right? There's variation, and I thought this would look cool. So we're just coming right off the edge here like that. Get that first layer in. Oh, it was a little wet there. Can you see that? Sometimes that happens when I clean a stencil, but it's okay because I think I'm going to splatter some stuff on here too. Let's get back up here. It starts creeping down. All right, let's get in here. Again, bring in a little more, like that. All right. I haven't used Salvaged Patina much either, but it's a very cool color. So you can kind of see, right, how we're overlapping. I'm gonna tilt that a little, and it's gonna go right to the edge of the stencil, the outer stencil, the watercolor wash, and give us kind of a cool look there. All right, keep going in like that. Beautiful. Picking that up, and let's bring in Wilted Violet. Now I don't have a full-size pad of Wilted Violet, but I do have a brush for purple. So I'm gonna load up my brush like that. This one I have to hold because it's just, you know, it's small. Tap a little. Let's come back in with this and just do a nice bit of purple. Just wanted to get these cool colors in because this is how I'm gonna paint my mermaid. I'm very excited about this. My mermaid tail. I guess it's not a full mermaid. Pull that up. Okay, let's dip that down too. And then I am going to end with bringing the prize ribbon back in at the bottom. I think that would be cool. Just a little overlap. That's kind of neat. Like that. Okay. I'll go one more here in that direction. I don't know if it needs to be up quite that high. There we go. Load it up, bring it in. Like that. The nice thing about layering inks, you know, you just kind of keep going until it looks good to your eye. There's no, and honestly, I'm going to leave that purple ink on there. I don't even think that I need to take it all off. I'm going to come back to prize ribbon. It's meant to be, you know, kind of fun, kind of willy-nilly. So I'll bring you in here like that. Overlap that purple a little for a cool transition. And bring that down like that. I'll just go with the same ink that I have, like that. And then I'm just going to finish out the stencil like that. So we just have maybe one line of the blue there like that. Okay. And that is the ink blending. So let's see what it looks like. Oh, wait, no, you know what I want to do? I want to do a little splatter. Let me grab some water so I can make a little splatter. I could use the Distress Spray Stain. Well, actually, you know what? I think I'm going to spray this onto a cube because I don't want it to go everywhere. So let me grab a fan brush. Now you can always just wet down your actual ink, but I think I'm just going to do a little, let's spray some on here and see what happens. Like literally just a dab like that. And then I am going to take my Distress Sprayer. I'm just going to add some water to this, right? Get it nice and watery. Then I'll take this brush. I'm actually going to wet this down just off camera so it has a little water on it. And then I'll just swirl that around like that. And then I'll just do the lightest of flicks. Just a few. Like that. just to have a little bit of that color, the prize ribbon, flicked on top. That's it. Gonna let it dry and walk away. And just so you know, I put that other stencil up here to keep the top of the card crisp and white. So let's see what this looks like when we do a peel and reveal. Isn't that cute? So you have this sort of watery image with the deep blues. I actually think that looks really pretty. All right, we're gonna set this aside and I'm gonna move on to some stamping. Look at, I have ink on my hands. Tim Holtz would be so proud. Okay, I am going to take this mermaid tail, which I love, and I'm just gonna stamp this right in the center because I'm gonna be painting this. But first, I'm going to stamp this and emboss it in silver because I think that will be really cool for a nice watery look. I have my clear embossing ink, but I am going to use my embossing magic just to powder up the paper so that when I stamp, my powder only sticks to where I'm stamping. So let's ink this up really well. That. Get a nice coating. Okay. And I will bring this down and press using my Debbie tool. Helps me transfer the ink and get a really nice impression here, like that. Okay, I think that's good enough. I don't think I need to stamp it again. You can actually see it a little because, you know what, maybe I will, because my stamp was a little dirty. Probably didn't give it the best cleaning, but we'll pick this up. And the powder I'm going to be using is the Sterling from Brutus Monroe. So sprinkle this on. Like that. Just let that set for a second. Let it slide off. Let's take a look. Oh, that looks really good. And just do it twice for good measure because sometimes I get a little aggressive with the tap off. We don't need to do that. We don't need to be aggressive. That looks great. All right, now can you see how shiny that is? Let's see, is it going to pick up in the light? There we go. Beautiful, shiny mermaid goodness. Now we're going to paint. And the thing is, I didn't put this on watercolor paper or anything heroic. It's just Neenah Solar White, the classic Crest, 110 pound, and I think it's going to work just fine. I've got my Art Impressions paint palette out, and all I'm going to do here is just smush a little ink down. Of course, these are only in the large size pads now, this and Salvaged Patina. What usually happens is when Tim gets a new collection of 4, then he releases them in smaller sets. But I'm just going to smush these down. Got a water brush here. I love this water detailer because it has a fine tip. And I'm just going to get the water flowing a little, kind of clean it out from the last thing I was using on my paper towel. I'll keep that off to the side as well. And now I think what I'm going to do here, I'm actually going to flip it and start this way because, again, that's the orientation we're looking for here. I'm just going to pick up the prize ribbon. Oh, that's so pretty. And I'm just going to paint some of it right in here. The nice thing about the embossing is it does help to keep your color flowing. Now I'm going to mix it really quick here with a little of the purple because I want to get a little overlap in there like that, right? And kind of have those colors mix and meld. Isn't that pretty? Oh, I love it. And then I'm going to bring in, let's see here, let's come into Salvaged Patina. Okay, kind of cross that into the tail, right? And just kind of, and again, this isn't watercolor paper, but that's okay. It's still going to look great. And I'm going to pick up a little green from over here. Just sort of finish out the tail like that. Isn't that pretty? Oh, love it. And I'm just going to do right up the side. Actually, I went out of the, that's okay though. Like that. And then really quickly get into my purple here. Kind of blend that in a little. I'm going to water that down just a little more so it's a little softer there, like that. Right to the edge, like that. Kind of forgot about my cracked pistachio, but we'll find a place for it. There we go. Look at how pretty that is in there. Something like this is so easy to paint, and I think I will bring in, there we go, a little cracked pistachio down here. And I'll pick up a little more green just to have, you know, just like a little, isn't that pretty? Sorry, I amaze even myself sometimes. Also, if you want to water down, just give a really good squeeze, right? And then get, you know, a nice little blob of water here. But I'm just going to do a little bit here, like that. Do a little less of the blue here, a little more of the purple, right? Kind of mix that in a little. Get that blend. Now, watercolor paper probably would move better than this because, you know, this is just Neenah Solar White Classic Crest, but it's fine for what I'm doing. And it will still have a cool look. Let's get that salvaged patina. Don't be afraid to turn your paper, right, to get a look. Pick up, let's mix those together and see what that looks like. Ooh, that's pretty. All right. And that's it. That's all I'm going to do. But look at that depth that the prize ribbon gives. Isn't that gorgeous? All right, I'm going to let this dry completely, and then I'm going to grab a pair of scissors and we'll fussy cut the tail. So I'm going to frame this out and cut a little bit of that wavy background that I've ink blended because I want my mermaid tail to be bleeding off the edge of that panel, and just run this through my die cut machine, and then I can set up my greeting for stamping. So now I've got my panel just a little bit smaller, which is exactly what I wanted, right? I'm going to visualize here. I want the tail to be coming up right at the point, you know, just a little bit like that. So I'm going to do Be a Mermaid and Make Waves. I think that's really sweet. Okay, I'm going to try to set these close together. And actually now I'm going to move that out of the way because I would like to get this as close as possible. Does that look pretty centered and straight? I think it does. I'm actually, well, let's get you out of here. Oh, okay. Okay, let's try that again. You never know. So let's look here. That looks pretty good. You know what I can do too? Let's just test it with some ink here. The old distress ink. Where do I have a sample? That'll just let me see how close they are together. So let's see. You know, that's not as close as I would like it. So let's try this, okay? We're gonna start with this one. I'm going to put this right where I wanted it to be. Let's throw on our embossing powder because we just don't want powder to stick where we don't want it. Okay, we're right in the corner here. Yep. And I'm going to take my clear embossing ink and ink this up. Of course, I will be using sterling, the same silver. We'll do this one first. Bring that down and press. And actually, I wonder if I'd be able to see that enough to place. Hard to say. I'm going to lift this up and I'll tell you. No, I can't see that at all. Pop this on, and that way I'm going to be able to see where to stamp the sub-greeting. Actually, I got powder all over that. Maybe it's not dry enough? I don't know. That's really odd. Did I not powder that up enough? Well, now this is just turning into an absolute show. That's crazy. I'm going to repowder this and try it again. I'm going to powder this up quite heavily. Really sure what happened there. It just got really sticky. It's very humid and the air just kicked on. So part of me wonders maybe if I mucked that up. So let's give it a try. Stamping you down. And I think we did it. So it's not as close. Does not matter to me because that basically saved the day. Okay, here's a little here's a little story for you. If you're ever, I'm gonna go flat on this. Don't take your stamp out of your MISTI like I did, because if you do, then all of a sudden, if you need to restamp in the same spot, I was so confident that this would be perfect, and it wasn't. You're just gonna scrape a little, powder away, scrape and blow, scrape and blow. Now it might look a little grungier than I had initially intended, but let's melt the powder. Maybe not as clean as it could have been, but it's still shiny and it's still fun. So let's build the card. I thought that the Simon Says stamp lavender would be gorgeous with this. So that's what we're doing for our card base. I think this is going to be so pretty. Fold that over. Where's my Teflon bone folder? Oh, here you go. Give that a good press down. And I'm going to grab some foam tape for this friend. Sometimes if I've got a little warping, I will go a little extra, a little bit of overkill on the foam tape because that helps to straighten and flatten the panel. Now pop this down right in the center with that gorgeous framing margin space that I love. Oh, look at that. Isn't that pretty? Just that little lavender connection. Now, I kind of had a change of heart with this. You know what I think I'm going to do? I am going to fussy cut a little bit better into the part here that fades out, like that. Get a little bit closer in, like that, and just sort of round it a bit, okay? You don't have to be the world's best fussy cutter to do this, because I actually think maybe it would be cute just to have it break the plane. Does that make sense? So it's coming off, or I think that's kind of cute. Let's get our foam squares on the back. I'm going to use thin foam squares because I don't want this to have too much depth. I like a little depth. Little depth will do ya. The thin foam squares are so great. And to think it all started inspired by prize ribbon. I don't know if my card would win a prize. If it did, I would hope it would be the blue ribbon because, it'd be nice. Okay, maybe I should have my tweezers because I'm not quite sure what I'm doing. And this will help me to see the placement. That's why we like these tweezers, because it does give you, right, just a little bit of clearance. And I would rather the tail be centered. So we're going to do it. We're just going to commit just like that. Isn't that cute? Be a mermaid and make waves. Now, I don't think a card like this would be complete without just a little more shine. So I'm going to grab my recent favorite here, which is the Gina Quartz. Love these. Couple medium-sized ones and the little ones too. So maybe like that, and maybe get a medium one over here like that. And, oh, that's fun, right? We'll just go like that. And then put one more small one down here at the bottom. And in a way, it's almost like they're bubbles. You know what I mean? I think you know what I mean. And actually, that could tuck a little. Oh, I like that. And then that could go there. Okay, I think that's our arrangement. All right, I am loving Barely Art. I've used this in multiple videos now, and I feel like it's a fantastic product. So, adding our shine, and come on, there you go. Boop. Boop. They just, because there's no holes, I love confetti style sequin. Boop. A little tuck. Oh, so cute. Boop. Perfect. Actually, I have that. Do I have that wrong side down? I think I do. There you go. Gotta be a cuppy. And right there on the edge of the blend, and boop. And that is my finished card project, inspired by the fabulous new prize ribbon. And I think it's cool too whenever Tim releases a new color, just to see what creators do with it, because this isn't that messy. But look at my hands again. I never get ink on my hands. I'm going to attribute that to the spray stain. But check out the new color prize ribbon. It's available now at Simon Says Stamp. And I hope this inspires you to get out, to mix and match your distress inks and have some fun. Thanks so much for watching. Thanks so much for watching today. I would love to have you become a subscriber to my YouTube channel. And if you do subscribe, be sure to hit the gray bell below the video so that you don't miss the next time I post. Here are a couple other videos that you might be interested in watching. Thanks so much and have a great day.